Most traders enter the markets believing that money is the reward for hard work, long hours, and relentless struggle. They think the more charts they study, the more indicators they add, and the more sleepless nights they spend analyzing the market, the closer they get to success. But the market does not pay you for effort. It does not reward intensity, exhaustion, or even intelligence. The market pays you for alignment. Alignment between your mindset and the dynamic conditions of uncertainty. This is the core truth. Many never understand money is made by the mind, not by hard work. Hard work creates the illusion of progress. It gives you a sense of control, a sense that you are doing something even when that something is ineffective, emotional, or chaotic. The market, however, responds only to the way you perceive, interpret, and act upon information. Two traders can look at the exact same chart at the exact same moment and take completely opposite decisions. One earns massively, the other blows up. The difference is never effort, it is always mindset. Your mental framework determines your ability to recognize opportunity without fear, manage risk without hesitation, and execute without sabotaging yourself. The trader who understands that money is created by clarity of mind sees the market as a flow of probabilities, not a battlefield to conquer. They do not attach personal meaning to wins or losses. They do not chase certainty or force outcomes. They operate from a state of psychological neutrality, allowing them to see what is, not what they want it to be. This mental flexibility is the true engine of profitability. It frees you from impulsiveness, from FOMO, from revenge trading, and from the emotional distortions that turn potential profits into consistent losses. The market is an environment of endless possibilities, but you only access those possibilities when your mind is prepared to interact with uncertainty without conflict. This requires self-awareness, emotional discipline, belief restructuring, and the ability to stay present in each moment. When your mind is trained to operate in harmony with probability rather than fear, your trading transforms. Entries become cleaner. Exits become calmer. Losses feel manageable. Profits feel natural. You stop forcing trades and start allowing opportunities to flow to you. The trader who masters their mind masters the market. The trader who relies only on hard work remains trapped in struggle. Every breakthrough in trading comes from a mental shift, never a physical one. And once you understand that the market rewards psychological strength more than any amount of effort, you finally step into the state where consistent profitability becomes possible. Not through force, but through mental freedom. Most people approach money with a very concrete, almost mechanical mindset. They equate money with effort, believing that if they work harder, put in longer hours, and push themselves to exhaustion, wealth will naturally follow. This assumption is deeply ingrained in society, where effort and diligence are often praised as the ultimate virtues. From a young age, we are taught that hard work is the key to success. Teachers tell students that studying longer hours leads to better grades. Parents emphasize that dedication and perseverance will guarantee career achievements. Society rewards those who hustle tirelessly, and we are conditioned to think that wealth is merely the accumulation of effort. However, the truth in trading and financial markets is quite different. Money is not a simple reward for physical or even intellectual labor. It is generated by the way you think, the way you perceive, and the way you act in alignment with the dynamic realities of the market. When someone steps into the trading world with the mindset that money is a product of effort, they are already at a disadvantage. They focus on performing tasks, analyzing charts for hours, reading countless indicators, memorizing patterns, and constantly seeking external validation of their knowledge. While this type of activity creates a sense of productivity, it rarely translates into profitability. The market does not pay attention to the hours you put in or the amount of work you perform. It responds to decisions, actions, and the psychological state behind those actions. Traders who rely solely on effort without cultivating the right mindset often find themselves trapped in cycles of frustration and loss. The difference between effort-driven and mind-driven money is fundamentally rooted in perception. Effort-driven traders perceive the market as something to conquer, a puzzle to solve, or a system to control. They assume that the more time they spend studying charts, the more control they will gain over outcomes. They believe that if they work hard enough, they can force success. This approach often leads to overtrading, emotional exhaustion, and impulsive decisions because their sense of security and competence is tied to activity rather than understanding. Mind-driven traders, on the other hand, perceive the market as a probabilistic environment, a flow of opportunities that must be approached with calm, clarity, and discipline. They understand that no amount of effort can guarantee a specific outcome, and that attempting to force results is counterproductive. Their energy is directed toward managing their own mind, recognizing biases, controlling emotions, and aligning actions with probabilities. The way the mind interprets losses is a crucial factor. Effort-focused individuals often view a loss as a failure of skill or diligence, which triggers frustration, self-doubt, and a need to compensate with even more work. This response reinforces the false notion that hard work is the solution, leading to a cycle of increasingly desperate effort. Mind-focused individuals see losses differently. They understand that losses are an inevitable part of probabilistic outcomes and that no single trade determines success. Instead of reacting emotionally, they use losses as information, as feedback about probabilities, risk management, and execution. This mental reframing allows them to stay centered, make rational decisions, and continue trading without being dominated by fear or greed. Attention and awareness are also shaped by the mindset. Those who equate money with hard work tend to focus on external factors, which indicator to trust, which news event might move the market, or which strategy guarantees profit. This external focus can create distraction and stress because the market is unpredictable and no external variable provides certainty. Mind-driven traders focus inward as much as outward. They cultivate self-awareness, noticing how their thoughts, emotions, and beliefs influence their actions. They recognize that mental clarity is more valuable than exhaustive analysis. By understanding and regulating their internal state, they can interact with the market objectively, making decisions based on probabilities rather than hope or fear. Another important aspect is the concept of leverage of the mind. Physical effort has limits. There are only so many hours in a day, only so much energy one can expend, and only so many charts one can review. Mental alignment, however, creates leverage beyond these limits. A disciplined, focused, and clear mind allows the trader to process information efficiently, recognize patterns instinctively, and react appropriately without becoming reactive or emotional. In this sense, money grows not because of quantity of effort, but because of quality of thought and precision of action. The mind becomes a tool for creating opportunity, managing risk, and maintaining consistency, which ultimately translates into profits. Effort can improve skill, but skill without the right mental framework is rarely profitable. Traders can spend years learning technical analysis, reading books, and memorizing strategies. But if their mind is reactive, anxious, or emotionally unstable, those skills will not translate into consistent results. Mind-driven money arises when the trader cultivates confidence, patience, emotional resilience, and probabilistic thinking. These qualities allow them to approach trading with a calm and objective perspective, making decisions based on what the market presents, rather than on fear of missing out, greed, or the need to justify effort. Risk perception is also a product of the mind. Effort-driven traders often miscalculate risk because they equate taking action with achieving results. They overtrade, overleverage, or ignore stop-loss rules, assuming that their diligence can overcome the market's uncertainty. Mind-driven traders respect risk because their decisions are grounded in awareness, discipline, and acceptance of uncertainty. They do not fear losses, nor do they overreact to wins. This mental control ensures that profits compound over time, while emotional and effort-driven approaches tend to erode capital. The most significant barrier to understanding this concept is deeply ingrained conditioning. Society teaches that hard work is the ultimate solution. Parents, teachers, media, and even colleagues reinforce the belief that success is directly proportional to effort. Overcoming this mindset requires a conscious shift, recognizing that effort is not inherently valuable unless it is directed by a disciplined and clear mind. Mental mastery becomes the differentiating factor, the invisible engine that determines whether effort translates into real, sustainable results. The alignment between mind and market is the essence of profitable trading. Effort without mental alignment is noise. Effort with mental clarity becomes signal. Money is made not when you push harder, but when you perceive better, react calmer, and act with precision. Every trade, every decision, every moment of focus is influenced far more by mindset than by hours of labor. To succeed, one must prioritize the cultivation of the mind, understanding that it is the mind, not mere hard work, that creates lasting financial results, navigates uncertainty effectively, and sustains growth in a complex probabilistic environment. The difference becomes apparent over time. Effort-focused traders often experience cycles of intense activity followed by burnout, disappointment, and inconsistent results. Mind-focused traders experience steadiness, consistency, and gradual accumulation of wealth. The mind, when properly trained and aligned, acts as a multiplier of opportunity, converting clarity, awareness, discipline, and calm into measurable profit. This principle applies universally. The more you develop your mental framework, the more effortless and sustainable your financial results become, showing that money is truly a product of the mind rather than mere physical effort. Hard work is often glorified in society as the ultimate path to success. From school to career, we are conditioned to believe that effort is the main determinant of achievement. We are told that if we work longer hours, push ourselves harder, and commit tirelessly to our goals, we will inevitably reap rewards. In many areas of life, this principle holds some truth. Effort improves skill, builds endurance, and enhances understanding. However, in the world of trading and financial markets, hard work alone is not a reliable path to success. In fact, relying solely on effort can create an illusion of progress while masking the critical deficiencies in mindset and approach. Hard work can make you busy, but it does not guarantee profitable decisions. Effort-driven traders often equate time spent with expertise. They believe that analyzing more charts, reading more books, and memorizing more patterns will automatically improve results. They stay glued to screens, constantly searching for the perfect setup, convinced that more work will produce more success. The reality is that the market is probabilistic and constantly changing, and no amount of data accumulation or mechanical analysis ensures an advantage. While effort may increase knowledge, it does not necessarily improve decision-making under uncertainty. Traders who focus on hard work are often overwhelmed by information, distracted by noise, and emotionally taxed by the demands they place on themselves. Their energy is consumed by busyness rather than clarity, and their effort becomes an obstacle to effective action. Illusion of control is another major consequence of overemphasizing hard work. Effort-driven individuals tend to believe that the market is something to conquer through persistence and intensity. They think that by working harder than others, they can dominate outcomes and force profits. This mindset generates stress, anxiety, and impulsive behavior. When trades do not go as expected, these traders experience frustration and often double down on their efforts, trying to compensate for losses with even more work. The cycle continues, reinforcing the false belief that effort alone is sufficient, while the real issue lies in mental clarity, emotional discipline, and understanding probabilistic outcomes. One of the primary reasons hard work alone is ineffective in trading is that it does not address emotional control. Markets are unpredictable, and every trader faces the same uncertainties. Without the ability to manage fear, greed, and hope, effort can become counterproductive. A trader can spend hours preparing for a trade, analyzing every detail meticulously, only to have a reaction driven by emotion override their analysis at the moment of execution. Effort, in this sense, becomes irrelevant because the key determinant of success is how the mind responds to uncertainty, not the quantity of work performed. Effort can also create the trap of overcomplication. Traders who focus excessively on hard work often feel that they need to add more indicators, more strategies, more rules to their system. They believe that the next tool or method will unlock consistent profitability. However, the market does not reward complexity or exhaustive effort. It rewards clarity, simplicity, and decisive action. A cluttered mind, weighed down by endless tasks and tools, is slow to respond and prone to error. By contrast, traders who focus on mental discipline rather than effort cultivate the ability to perceive market dynamics with precision, recognize opportunities quickly, and act confidently without hesitation. The concept of leverage is also critical here. Physical effort has natural limits. You can only study so many charts in a day, analyze so many reports, or trade for so many hours before fatigue sets in. Mental mastery, on the other hand, multiplies effectiveness far beyond the limits of sheer effort. A disciplined, focused, and clear mind can recognize patterns, manage risk, and make decisions with efficiency and consistency. Mental leverage turns understanding into action and probability into opportunity, whereas physical effort without focus often results in exhaustion without measurable gains. Hard work often fosters attachment to outcomes. Traders who believe success comes from effort are likely to tie their self-worth to their trades. Wins feel like validation of their hard work, and losses feel like personal failure. This attachment distorts perception and drives impulsive behavior. Mind-focused traders approach outcomes differently. They understand that no single trade or series of trades defines their ability or success. They maintain objectivity, viewing each trade as a statistical event within a broader probabilistic framework. By detaching their identity from outcomes, they avoid the emotional traps that hard work alone cannot resolve. Discipline is another domain where effort falls short. Effort without discipline is scattered. It can create activity, but not results. Traders who operate on sheer effort may develop knowledge and experience, but without consistent application of rules, risk management, and emotional control, that effort rarely translates into sustained profitability. Mental focus and alignment, however, ensure that effort is directed effectively, applied at the right moments, and integrated with a consistent process that respects probabilities, risk, and opportunity. The relationship between preparation and execution illustrates the limitations of effort. Many traders believe that preparation is the solution, that if they spend enough time preparing, their execution will automatically be flawless. In reality, preparation alone does not create results. Execution under uncertainty requires calm, focus, and confidence. Effort without a trained mind cannot prevent hesitation, second-guessing, or emotional reactions that destroy potential profits. Traders must cultivate psychological readiness, ensuring that knowledge and preparation are effectively translated into action. Hard work can also create the illusion of progress, where activity is mistaken for advancement. Traders may feel productive after long sessions of analysis, but the true measure of success is the quality of decisions and the outcomes those decisions produce over time. Mind-focused traders understand that effectiveness is measured not by hours spent, but by clarity, execution, and alignment with probabilities. They direct their energy toward cultivating perception, mental resilience, and strategic decision-making, rather than accumulating hours of effort that may never translate into results. Experience, when coupled with effort but without mental discipline, often produces inconsistent outcomes. Traders may learn lessons the hard way, suffering losses despite tremendous effort because their actions are driven by reaction rather than reason. Mind-focused traders accelerate learning by observing patterns, reflecting objectively, and adjusting their thinking. Their learning is integrated and efficient, translating into consistent performance rather than sporadic success. Another critical point is that markets are neutral. They do not reward toil or diligence. Profit is not proportional to the number of hours spent. It is proportional to the quality of decisions, emotional regulation, and perception of risk versus opportunity. Hard work without these mental attributes is often wasted energy. Mind-focused traders, in contrast, maximize every decision by aligning perception, emotion, and action, converting probability into measurable advantage. Ultimately, hard work is necessary but not sufficient in trading. Effort alone cannot overcome emotional reactions, uncertainty, or misperception. Success comes from the integration of preparation, discipline, emotional regulation, and mental clarity. Traders who rely solely on hard work may exhaust themselves, become frustrated, and fail to achieve consistent results, while those who prioritize mental mastery harness their effort to produce consistent, reliable outcomes. The market rewards the mind, not mere activity, and understanding this distinction is critical to moving beyond struggle into effective, sustainable trading. Clarity and emotional discipline are the cornerstones of consistent profitability in trading. Without these qualities, even the most skilled and knowledgeable trader can struggle to achieve results, because trading is not simply a technical exercise or a test of intellect. It is a constant interplay between perception, emotion, and decision-making. Most traders fail not because they lack strategies or data, but because their mind is clouded by noise, fear, hope, and uncertainty. Emotional turbulence distorts perception, and without clarity, decisions become reactive rather than proactive, undermining the potential for success. Understanding the primacy of clarity and emotional discipline is therefore essential for anyone serious about trading. Clarity begins with perception. The market presents information at every moment. Prices move, volumes shift, and patterns emerge. But the way a trader interprets this information is entirely dependent on their mental state. A mind cluttered with worry, greed, or frustration cannot see the market objectively. Instead, it projects biases, assumptions, and desires onto price action, distorting reality This distortion leads to poor decisions, impulsive trades, and unnecessary risk-taking. Traders who cultivate clarity develop the ability to observe the market as it is, not as they wish it to be. They recognize patterns, probabilities, and risk without the interference of personal emotion, allowing them to act decisively and consistently. Emotional discipline is inseparable from clarity. Trading is a psychological battlefield. Fear, greed, hope, and regret are constant companions. Emotional discipline does not mean the absence of emotion. It means the ability to acknowledge emotion without being driven by it. Fear can cause hesitation, leading to missed opportunities or premature exits. Greed can drive overexposure, overtrading, and unnecessary risk. Hope can lead traders to hold losing positions far too long, waiting for a reversal that may never come. Regret can cause impulsive attempts to make up losses, compounding mistakes. Traders who master emotional discipline learn to recognize these impulses, detach from them, and maintain objective focus on the probabilities and realities of the market. The development of clarity and emotional discipline is a continuous process. It requires self-awareness, reflection, and deliberate practice. Traders must observe their own mental patterns, identifying recurring emotional reactions, biases, and cognitive distortions. Journaling trades, reflecting on decisions, and analyzing both successful and unsuccessful trades allow the mind to become conscious of its tendencies. This self-awareness is the foundation upon which clarity is built. Once a trader understands how their mind reacts under pressure, they can develop strategies and practices to maintain equilibrium, ensuring that decisions are made from a place of calm observation rather than reactionary impulse. Discipline in execution is another crucial aspect of clarity and emotional regulation. A trader may have the clearest understanding of market probabilities, but without disciplined application of rules, preparation, and risk management, clarity alone is insufficient. Emotional discipline ensures that rules are followed consistently. For example, strict adherence to stop-loss levels, position sizing, and trade entry criteria is only possible when the trader's mind is trained to prioritize process over outcome. A clear and disciplined mind recognizes that consistent application of process rather than occasional brilliance or reactive intuition is what leads to long-term success. Clarity also allows for effective risk perception and management. When the mind is unclouded by fear or greed, a trader can objectively evaluate the risk-reward ratio of each trade, assess probabilities, and act accordingly. Unclear or emotionally charged thinking often exaggerates risks, leading to avoidance of opportunities, or underestimates them, leading to reckless exposure. Traders with mental clarity and emotional discipline maintain a balanced perspective, neither overestimating nor underestimating the challenges they face. This balanced approach fosters consistent decision-making, resilience, and the ability to capitalize on opportunities while protecting capital. The relationship between emotional discipline and decision-making is especially critical during periods of loss or drawdown. Many traders, when confronted with losses, react impulsively, chasing recovery trades, increasing position size, or abandoning their strategy altogether. Emotional discipline allows the trader to maintain a steady state, to step back, analyze objectively, and make decisions based on probabilities rather than emotional responses. Clarity ensures that even in the face of adversity, the trader can maintain perspective, understand what went wrong, and adjust strategy without panic or impulsivity. This ability to act rationally under pressure is what separates consistently profitable traders from those who experience erratic results. Clarity and emotional discipline also enhance pattern recognition and timing. The mind, when calm and focused, can see opportunities and signals that might otherwise be obscured by mental noise. This allows traders to enter and exit positions at the optimal points, avoid unnecessary risks, and maximize potential gains. Conversely, a mind clouded by impatience, fear, or frustration will often misinterpret signals, enter too early or too late, and compound errors through emotional reactions. Mastery of the mind ensures that decisions are guided by observation and probability, not by emotional distortion. Another critical element is the relationship between clarity, discipline, and patience. Trading opportunities are probabilistic. They do not present themselves on demand. Without patience, traders force trades, take unnecessary risks, or deviate from their strategies. Clarity provides the mental space to wait for optimal setups, while emotional discipline prevents impatience and frustration from driving impulsive actions. The combination of patience, clarity, and discipline allows the trader to act only when conditions are favorable, maximizing the efficiency of every decision. Clarity also enables reflection and continuous improvement. Traders who maintain emotional discipline can objectively analyze both successes and failures, learning from each trade without being clouded by ego, regret, or frustration. They are able to identify mistakes in strategy, execution, or mental approach, and make adjustments that compound into long-term growth. Emotional turbulence, by contrast, often blinds traders to patterns, repeating errors and reinforcing counterproductive habits. Finally, clarity and emotional discipline create resilience. Markets are inherently unpredictable and often unforgiving. Traders are constantly exposed to volatility, losses, and unexpected events. Without a disciplined mind, these challenges can trigger emotional reactions that disrupt performance. Clarity allows traders to remain focused on probabilities rather than outcomes, while emotional discipline ensures steady application of process. Together, they provide a psychological framework that supports long-term performance, enabling traders to navigate uncertainty, manage risk, and capitalize on opportunities consistently. Success in trading is rarely a result of random luck or sheer effort alone. It is born from the alignment of the trader's mind with the dynamic probabilities of the market. The concept of aligning with market probabilities is fundamental to consistent profitability, yet it is often overlooked by those who focus solely on strategies, charts, or technical analysis. Alignment does not mean predicting outcomes with certainty. It means understanding the probabilistic nature of the market, recognizing that every trade carries a range of possible outcomes, and positioning oneself in a mental and emotional state that allows for optimal decisions regardless of which outcome unfolds. This principle separates consistently successful traders from those who struggle despite hours of effort and technical knowledge. Markets operate on uncertainty. No amount of information, research, or preparation can guarantee the outcome of any trade. Traders who fail to recognize this reality often try to control the uncontrollable, relying on predictions or sure bets that do not exist. This leads to frustration, impulsive decisions, and emotional volatility, all of which undermine performance. Alignment with probabilities, on the other hand, involves accepting uncertainty as the fundamental nature of trading and developing a mindset capable of responding to it with discipline, objectivity, and flexibility. When a trader is aligned, they are able to observe price movements and market behavior without imposing their desires or fears onto the environment, which allows for decisions that are consistent with the realities of probability rather than emotion or hope. Understanding probabilities requires a shift from a deterministic mindset to a probabilistic one. Many traders operate under the assumption that each trade is a binary event, win or lose. This binary thinking creates attachment to outcomes, emotional reactions to losses, and overconfidence after wins. Probabilistic thinking, by contrast, frames every trade as one event within a series of potential outcomes, where each decision has a measurable likelihood of success or failure. Traders who embrace this mindset focus on risk management, position sizing, and process, knowing that over time, consistent application of probability-based decisions produces favorable results. This approach reduces emotional interference and allows traders to act logically, even when individual trades do not go as expected. Mental alignment also means developing the ability to detach from the need for certainty. Effort-driven or outcome-focused traders often seek reassurance through analysis, second-guessing, and compulsive information gathering. This behavior stems from an inability to tolerate uncertainty. A trader aligned with probabilities, however, is comfortable with ambiguity. They understand that no strategy guarantees success and that losses are an inevitable part of trading. By accepting uncertainty and focusing on process over outcome, the aligned trader maintains calm, makes rational decisions, and avoids the reactive behaviors that destroy profitability. Another critical aspect of alignment is emotional neutrality. When a trader reacts emotionally to price movements, their perception becomes clouded and decisions are guided by fear, greed, or hope rather than objective assessment. Alignment requires the trader to maintain a neutral mental state where decisions are based on observed conditions and probabilities rather than emotional impulses. This emotional discipline allows the trader to recognize opportunities that others might overlook and to exit positions when risk outweighs reward. Even in situations where personal bias or desire might encourage holding on, preparation and planning play a significant role in aligning with probabilities. Traders who enter the market without a defined strategy or understanding of risk are subject to the whims of emotion and circumstance. Alignment involves creating clear rules for entry, exit, and risk management, as well as preparing mentally to execute those rules consistently. These preparations are not about eliminating uncertainty, they cannot, but about positioning the trader to respond effectively to whatever the market presents. A trader who is mentally and emotionally prepared can interact with probability intelligently, treating each trade as a discrete event while maintaining consistency over time. Consistency itself is a byproduct of alignment. When traders focus on alignment rather than individual outcomes, they naturally adhere to process and strategy. Each trade becomes an application of probability-based thinking rather than an attempt to force a specific result. This reduces impulsive behavior, overtrading, and reactionary decisions, all of which erode capital and confidence. Consistency does not mean every trade is profitable. It means that the trader applies their methodology reliably, manages risk effectively, and maintains objectivity regardless of individual trade outcomes. Risk management is deeply intertwined with alignment. Probabilistic thinking requires that a trader assess potential loss against potential gain, position size accordingly, and accept losses as part of the process. Misalignment occurs when traders ignore probabilities, underestimate risk, or become emotionally attached to positions. Such misalignment can lead to catastrophic losses, even for traders with extensive knowledge or experience. By contrast, a mind aligned with probabilities treats losses as information, manages exposure rationally, and preserves capital, which is the foundation for long-term success. Alignment also enhances the trader's ability to learn from experience. When traders are emotionally detached and focused on probabilities, they can objectively analyze outcomes without bias. This reflective capacity allows them to identify patterns in their own behavior, recognize mistakes in execution, and adjust strategies effectively. Misaligned traders, on the other hand, often interpret losses as personal failure or attribute wins to luck, limiting their ability to learn and improve. The aligned trader sees each trade as feedback, contributing to a continuous process of refinement and growth. Another important dimension of alignment is the recognition that market conditions are constantly changing. No strategy or technique works universally. Adaptability is essential. Traders who are rigid, overconfident, or overly attached to a particular approach often fail when the market shifts. Alignment involves understanding the probabilistic nature of the market, remaining flexible in approach, and adjusting strategies to changing conditions without emotional disruption. This adaptability ensures that decisions remain grounded in observation, not expectation, and that the trader can capitalize on opportunities as they arise, rather than chasing results that may no longer be probable. Psychological readiness is a crucial component of alignment. Even the best strategies fail if the trader is not mentally prepared to execute them under pressure. Alignment requires a combination of confidence, patience, and self-awareness. Traders must recognize their emotional triggers, develop coping mechanisms for stress, and cultivate patience to wait for optimal opportunities. This psychological preparation ensures that trades are entered and exited according to probability-based rules rather than emotional impulses. Alignment is also a dynamic process, not a static state. Traders must continuously evaluate their mindset, emotions, and decision-making processes, adjusting as necessary to maintain consistency with market probabilities. The mind must remain fluid, alert, and disciplined, capable of responding to new information without being overwhelmed or reactive. This ongoing process of self-regulation is what enables a trader to navigate uncertainty successfully, turning probabilistic opportunities into measurable outcomes. Ultimately, traders who align with probabilities recognize that the market does not owe them anything, that outcomes are uncertain, and that their success depends entirely on their ability to interact with the market rationally and objectively. This alignment transforms trading from a battle against uncertainty into a calculated engagement with it. By focusing on probability, process, and mental preparedness, traders cultivate the conditions necessary for consistent performance, enabling them to act decisively, manage risk intelligently, and capitalize on opportunities in a way that hard work or technical knowledge alone cannot achieve. Mental mastery outweighs physical effort in trading because the market is not a test of endurance or brute force. It is a reflection of probabilities, human behavior, and psychological dynamics. Many aspiring traders enter the markets with the belief that hard work, long hours, and endless analysis will eventually produce success. They equate activity with progress, believing that the more they study charts, memorize patterns, or follow news events, the closer they get to consistent profits. While effort can improve skill, it does not guarantee effective decision-making under uncertainty. The decisive factor in trading is the state of the mind. Its clarity, discipline, and ability to operate under conditions of risk and ambiguity. Physical effort has obvious limitations. There are only so many hours in a day, only so much energy a person can expend, and only a finite amount of attention that can be devoted to monitoring charts, reading reports, or analyzing indicators. Traders who rely solely on hard work often exhaust themselves, yet fail to translate that effort into profitable outcomes. Mental mastery, by contrast, allows a trader to leverage focus, perception, and emotional control far beyond the constraints of physical labor. A disciplined and well-trained mind processes information efficiently, recognizes patterns quickly, and executes trades based on probabilities rather than impulses, multiplying the effectiveness of every decision. The mind acts as a filter for information. The markets constantly present vast amounts of data, price movements, news, and signals. Without mental discipline, this information can overwhelm and distract a trader, leading to confusion and poor decisions. Effort alone cannot organize or interpret this flow effectively. Mental mastery allows the trader to focus on what truly matters, filtering noise from signal and responding only to meaningful opportunities. It enables clear observation, accurate judgment, and confident execution. The difference between a mentally disciplined trader and an effort-focused trader is not the quantity of work performed, but the quality of decisions made in response to market realities. Emotional control is central to mental mastery. Fear, greed, hope, and regret are ever present in trading. These emotions can distort perception, cloud judgment, and drive reactive behavior. Hard work cannot prevent emotional interference. In fact, excessive effort without psychological training often amplifies stress, frustration, and impulsive behavior. Mental mastery involves recognizing these emotional triggers, detaching from outcome-driven thinking, and maintaining a calm, objective perspective. A trader who masters their mind can adhere to strategy, manage risk effectively, and respond rationally under pressure, regardless of market volatility or unexpected events. The relationship between mental mastery and risk management is profound. Effort-driven traders often miscalculate risk because they assume that preparation and activity can overcome uncertainty. They may take larger positions than their capital allows, ignore stop-loss rules, or chase trades impulsively, believing that diligence will compensate for the unpredictability of the market. A mentally disciplined trader, however, understands that no amount of effort changes probabilities. They calculate position size, assess risk-reward ratios, and execute trades according to a predefined plan. This disciplined approach protects capital, allows for consistent decision-making, and ultimately creates conditions where profits can accumulate over time. Mental mastery also enhances learning and adaptation. Hard work may produce experience, but experience without reflection and self-awareness does not necessarily lead to improvement. Traders who focus solely on activity may repeat mistakes, misinterpret losses, and reinforce counterproductive habits. A trader who masters the mind continually observes their own behavior, identifies recurring errors, and adjusts strategy based on objective evaluation rather than emotional reaction. This ability to learn from experience accelerates growth, improves decision-making, and increases the probability of sustained success. Patience and timing are critical aspects of mental mastery. Opportunities in the market do not arrive on demand. They must be identified, evaluated, and acted upon at the right moment. Effort-focused traders often struggle with impatience, taking trades prematurely or holding positions too long in hopes of forcing results. Mental mastery instills patience, allowing the trader to wait for setups that align with probabilities, to enter and exit positions with precision, and to avoid unnecessary risk. The ability to act decisively when the opportunity arises, while remaining patient at other times, is a hallmark of a mind that is in control rather than a body that is merely active. Clarity of thought is another dimension where mental mastery surpasses effort. Trading is a complex environment with constantly changing variables, and decisions must be made quickly and accurately. A clear, focused mind can analyze conditions, evaluate potential outcomes, and execute trades efficiently. Effort without clarity often results in overthinking, hesitation, and missed opportunities. Mental mastery ensures that every action is intentional, every decision is informed, and every response is aligned with probabilistic thinking rather than emotional bias. Consistency is a natural byproduct of mental mastery. Markets do not reward sporadic brilliance. They reward the ability to make repeated, rational decisions over time. A trader who relies on effort alone may experience intermittent success, but will often fail to maintain it as fatigue, stress, and emotional reactions interfere with performance. Mental discipline creates stability, ensuring that rules are followed, strategies are applied consistently, and behavior remains objective, even in challenging market conditions. This consistency compounds over time, producing results that hard work alone cannot achieve. Adaptability is also a key advantage of mental mastery. Markets are fluid, influenced by countless variables beyond any trader's control. Rigid strategies or over-reliance on technical analysis can lead to failure when conditions change. A mentally disciplined trader, however, observes shifts in probability, adjusts tactics, and maintains flexibility without emotional disruption. This adaptability allows for sustained performance across diverse market environments and prevents losses caused by stubborn adherence to outdated assumptions. Decision-making under pressure exemplifies the value of mental mastery. In moments of high volatility or unexpected events, a trader must act decisively. Physical effort cannot guarantee calm, precise action under stress. Only a trained mind can do that. Mental mastery allows the trader to assess situations objectively, manage emotional impulses, and execute trades in alignment with strategy and probability. This ability to remain composed and rational under pressure is what separates consistently profitable traders from those who succumb to fear, greed, or panic. Focus is another critical element. Traders are bombarded with information, noise, and distractions. Effort-driven approaches often scatter attention across too many variables, creating confusion and indecision. A mind that is trained and disciplined can concentrate on the essential elements, key price levels, risk parameters, and probability-based signals, while ignoring irrelevant noise. This focused approach improves accuracy, efficiency, and execution quality, turning mental mastery into a measurable advantage. Self-awareness underpins all aspects of mental mastery. Traders must recognize their cognitive biases, emotional triggers, and habitual responses to market events. Without this awareness, effort can reinforce mistakes rather than correct them. Mental mastery allows traders to observe themselves objectively, intervene when necessary, and maintain a state conducive to effective decision-making. This self-regulation is the foundation for consistency, adaptability, and long-term success. Ultimately, mental mastery transforms trading from a mechanical exercise into a skillful engagement with uncertainty. It amplifies the effectiveness of preparation, strategy, and knowledge by ensuring that decisions are made with clarity, discipline, and emotional neutrality. Physical effort alone cannot produce this alignment. It can create activity, but it cannot ensure rational, consistent action under pressure. A trader who masters the mind leverages understanding, focus, and emotional control to navigate uncertainty, manage risk, and convert probabilistic opportunities into sustainable results.